Okay, guys, I'm in the middle of recording a video for y'all, and unfortunately, it just closed out. I don't know what happened, but the only thing I did was add the X's to where I had the skull, and then I added the X's into my grid. Um, Make sure that whenever you go to start to log in, to start putting in your shading and all your drawings, be careful, especially the right-handers, dragging your hand across your drawings, because you'll do a beautiful thing of shading and then all this graphite would be on the side of your hand and then it gets all over your picture. So do just be careful. If you find that that is happening, you can easily go get a sheet of paper and lay your hand on there in order to do that, to keep it safe. Make sure it's a blank copy paper. That way it does not spread. So just be careful. Be careful where you're putting your hand. The cats have the zoomies right now. Y'all stop. Um, so just be careful where you're placing your hand and how you're placing and how you're moving your hand. Also, too, make sure that anything that is white is up and about, or you have something over it, because it will mess it up. Okay. Now, I'm going to start with the easy part of the skull here because, well, that's just what I want to do, and I just don't want to start my stuff with problems. If y'all hear a lot of scratching or something like that, it's just because my cats have this zoomies right now. Of course they do, because I'm trying to make this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for that. So I'm going to start with the part of the back of the skull right here, because I'm starting in this area right here. If you look, it does kind of curve. It's not actually straight. So just be sure that you have it nice and straight, okay? Now, I'm going to go do right here where it's B1. I want to do this top part of this skull right here. So that is what I'm going to do. So what I would like to do is see where that skull is coming through. So if we go with this edge right here of the skull, I want to see where it's coming from. It's not going through the center of the skull, the center of this the square. So we do not want to go center of the square. If you look to where your X is, it's actually right above that. And then when we go into this part of where it is in A1, it's just the very, 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 very bare minimum of that corner is it taking. Actually, I'm going to make it just a little bit higher because we are making this a little bit bigger. So we might want to make that bigger. So, and when I come through here, I want to finish this. Like I'm going to start it right here because I want to start to where that skull is. I'm making sure that I'm not going straight. And I'm just going to curve around that square right there, because if we see, we're going right there, but I'm going to make sure I'm coming in pretty close to that corner. And there went my lip gloss. All right. I'm just dropping everything tonight. Okay. So that is what we want to do there. We don't want to make it too bulbous or too round because, well, that's not what the skull is doing. It's not too round itself. So we're not going to make it too round. But anyway, so we're going to do that back part of it. Now, just remember, when we come in here to shade and to readjust things, we can absolutely readjust, okay? Right here, when I go into A2, I want to make sure that I am coming a little bit at an angle underneath the center of that square because the skull does not go up that high. And then if I was to draw a straight line here to make sure that I do not go above that straight line, that middle part of that square, again, we're keeping our skull, it's not too far from the middle, but it's not in the middle. And if we come over here, this skull is getting the bare minimum of A4. So I want to make sure that I can meet the skull right there. So if I come across and come down, I'll get that nice round part of the skull. Okay. And like I said, we can always readjust what we don't like with value. We can add maybe some shadow there to kind of help hide it. Again, let's make sure we're drawing very lightly because you want to be able to erase all the way through. We do not want to see this in there, okay? So now that we've got that top part of that skull, which I think is pretty good, we're going to go into A4 right here. Now I'm going to kind of make my X a little darker because it does look like it has some dark area in there, but I do have an X in there. I'm going to show you, I do actually have an X in there. So, when we do this part from right here, we're going to start right here because like I said, ever so slightly does it go into that corner of A4. But right here, we have to come down with this eye socket because it's not going through the center. The center of the square is right there. We're very, very close to the center. We're not going through the center. So our skull should not go to the center of our square. Now, do you remember I do have a scroll a little one up on different computer? Again, do not hesitate at kind of see better and better to do with the skull like that. I'm also going to think about maybe an interactive Google Glass where you can put X on top of it. We see how it works. That works. So when we do this, okay. So all you do when you go and do this eye socket here, it kind of comes out on a little bit of a slant right here. But do remember when this comes down, it scoops in and then it kind of comes out. And that eye socket part is going to come out right underneath that middle part. So I'm going to kind of come down along with this line of my X is very touching. And then when it comes out, I kind of bring it out, but I see it kind of get a little too much of a scoop, so I'm going to kind of straighten it. So I'm going to straighten my skull a little bit. Again, remember I am using my eyes to help me draw it. I'm just making sure I stay where I need to stay. But I'm adjusting wherever I need adjusting. So that is what I'm doing. And I'm just kind of straighten that out a little bit. Checking to be sure that I like the way that this skull is coming in. Actually, I think it's kind of come down a little bit more like that. Because it does go to the center, but it does come very, very, very close to it. So I'm make sure that I don't come to the center of it. Because I'm making it, yeah, kind of like that. Okay. Now, right here in that little area, and make sure I center, so I center right here. Come to the right at the center of the eye socket. Make sure that this is the eye where the eye socket lays. And coming out here, and then it kind of curves in just a little bit as it gets there. So I'm going to kind of play with the area until I'm very happy with it. Yeah, kind of like that. And you release that center line. I don't want it to throw me off. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and come down right here with the rest of that bone. Now, if you look like you're in the center, this area is kind of wrap around the whole center. So that's what we want to do with our skull. be able to come down this side of the center, come out right there, and when I come back in, I want to make sure my scroll is on a downward angle toward the middle right here. And with the middle part, it's not quite good at this, so I know I'm going to have to use some lines, so I'll go ahead and resmooth it. And if I look at that bone while I'm trying to draw this, which, again, you have to have patience with drawing this. If you really want to make a successful drawing, you cannot do the drawing quickly. I know I'm a little bit slower because I just want to draw this look good. This is where my observation skill comes in. And this is where I want to really become a better artist, or I want to really become a better person who can draw. You have to take your time. You just absolutely have to take your time. As you know, the paintings and other works of art, those things that could how much time it takes to draw something like this. It's only probably worth it takes time to be bored. Okay, guys? We're just gonna kind of coming across. This is coming a little bit at a downward angle. So I'm gonna kind of come across an downward angle. Okay, alright, so that's kind of this part right there. Now I'm going to draw this part where the kind meets the nasal area, the nasal cavity. So I'm gonna come across, and then I'll look right here toward the center. It's off-putting a little bit, ever so slightly. It's just a little off-putting that is cavity, but it's coming down, and again, it comes down at more of an angle. So make sure that your nasal cavity, that back part of it right here, is coming in. Now we're going to go to the jaw area and teeth, and we are going to do that. Now, if you look right here, it's actually going to go out of the rib a little bit. So you should be stopping it. So I did not see the teeth inside, all the way inside of before. I should see it kind of going off right there. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to see the center part of it is, see the side pedo. Again, I'm going to draw the very line to indicate the middle of that square is the middle part of the edge is on D. Before. And in ways from the center, I'm actually kind of all the way up here. So I want to keep that jaw all the way up there. So it kind of comes down and goes out, but even if it goes out, it's kind of like big kind of rounded, so make sure that yours is rounded too. Now these top teeth, again, it's coming out right here, and again, kind of rounded. I'm trying to, but it is a little rounded to make sure that it is a little rounded. The teeth are the last thing to do because I'm going to show you how to count the teeth, and because those teeth are where they are, I'm also going to show you how you can draw a line to kind of make sure that your top teeth on the top of the line and on the bottom. But kind of irritating. So that's not irritating yourself. Let's just kind of go and just finish drawing the silhouette of this I'm drawing right here. But now also D4, if you look right here at the bottom of this square right here, we're going to notice that our skull kind of comes back in. It's not much of an area at all. So I'm not giving it much of an area, and it actually goes off right here for the center. It's kind of like going just a little bit, kind of go back off right here. So that's okay. We'll let it go off, and then right here, and not all the way to the bottom, but pretty close to the bottom of B4 is where the bottom of the jawline comes in. So we're going to follow that. And if we look right here in the middle, that's where it's coming down and it comes back up. So we'll make sure that I indicate that up and that down. So coming, let's see, that's my water. Down. Remember, use your eyes to help you draw. It's observational. You're going to use your eyes. Okay? And the jawline comes with the flower, which is kind of nice. It's kind of extending from the flower. And again, it's not coming down too low. It's kind of just for the seer, and it kind of just comes up right there and on board. And there we go. We have the basic silhouette of our skull. And now we can go and draw on the side that we're just doing. What? We got to go. That's what we're going to do. Let's see. Where do I want to start? Okay, I think I'm going to draw this eye first. Just Bible and on the eye. So I'm going to be starting mainly in C3, which is going to be right here, and we're going to draw that. Okay. So I'm going to look where it is and B3 first. I'm really to see where it is. So it's kind of speed a little bit of an area. It's kind of right here in the center. It's kind of like right there. You don't want to see a lot of it. That's just the side. I said, guys, that is just trying to get it correct. So that's how where it is. If I want to see two, again, so where that is. So the crease of that is going to be right before the middle part. So it's going to come, I think it come a little bit more. Yeah, I think it's going to be more. I'm thinking that could be about, it's going to be a little bit like right. All right. So, and then we're going to cross to cut off that corner. And it does kind of make a straight line, but at the same time, remember, we have to keep it looking organic. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to keep it looking organic, because that's what a skull is. It is definitely 100% organic. All right, and so that is what we're going to do. We're going to come across like that. When we do this part right here, we're coming right here. We're not that far from the edge of the bottom edge of C3. So we're going to make sure we do that. Now, if you look right here, it's going to be lower on this side than it's going to be, sorry, it's going to be lower on this side than higher on this side. So our skull has to reflect that. It has to reflect trying to make sure I don't bring out of focus again. So I'm going to try to do this right here. I'm bringing it high, but bring it up. I don't think it's that low. Yeah. So I'm just going to get the basic brush shape of it, and then I'll come in here and make it nice and adjust it to how I like to adjust it. But if you come over here, kind of go up right here, but this side is going to come down. This is where you're going to find this eye socket is you're going to be using a lot of its shadow. And that is how we're going to really define this eye socket. And it does almost come straight down, but it's still, yeah, kind of like it like that. Okay, so I'm going to fix this area right here. And what I mean by fixing that area is if you notice it kind of goes in just a little bit. So that is what we're going to do. We're just going to bring it in just a little bit. And then when we get to this part right here, kind of comes down and then it kind of comes up again like that. And I'm going to do this part right here. It kind of looks like it's kind of bowing out just a little bit. So I want to make sure that mine, like right here, you see where it kind of just bows out. So I'm going to, but it's not too far from it, but it's not too close to that edge either. And I think I'm liking it like that, the eye sockets. Again, you can't really count the shadows and all that. When we go and lay down the value of it, you will see it. All right, I think I'm going, before I try to do this part of it, I'm going to attempt this nasal cavity part right here. So if I look at this nasal cavity, it looks like I'm going to be dealing with C4 and D4. So that is what I'm going to do. Now, if you look through this part of the nasal cavity, it is going to go through the middle of C4. So if I come right here to C4, it is going to come right through this middle. So depending on how much space is there, I might have to go and enlarge in that area, which is not the end of the world. We'll just go and enlarge in that area. That is what we will do, okay? So the best part is I'm going to draw the outside, well, we already have, I'm going to draw the outside limits of it, the edge of this nasal cavity right here. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to lightly draw this line, because when I go and lay my value down, I got to make that line disappear because it's defined by a highlight. So meaning you will use your eraser to draw that line after you lay down some shading. So put it down lightly. That way you can erase it. I will tell you this too. These bugs. I'll tell you this too. It's coming down on a little bit of an angle. So I'm going to make sure that my angle is coming down right there. Okay. When I come up here, it's coming pretty close to that edge of the top of D4. So make sure that your edge is going very close to that top too. Okay. It's coming down. Now, it's not coming down straight. It's coming down in a curve. So you need to make sure that yours is coming down in a curve too. I would say that that curve part is entering right here. So that is what we'll do. And it is kind of very wide. So I'm going to come out. Again, very, very lightly. That way I can come back and add the shadow to it. And come back and define this area really well. with the shadow opposed to the line. And I'm actually going to come down. I'm going to curve that line a little bit in because that is what we do. We curve it in. I'm actually going to turn my paper a little bit sideways because my hand is not very comfortable doing that. And I want my hand comfortable trying to do this curve. Okay. And again, I'm still using my HB pencil, so don't be afraid to use your. I'm dropping everything on my floor, so ignore me. All right. Then I'm going to come right up here and make sure that I'm able to draw this line that's way down here, but it is actually coming out of the nasal cavity. I think it's coming down right down here. Yeah. It's coming pretty close because we're going to have to draw this part of the nasal cavity. It kind of just comes out just a little bit. And then again, we will to draw that shadows and stuff like that in there. We kind of erase this line just a little bit. A lot of it's going to be covered. I just want to see some of the line, but I don't see a lot of that line. But it comes right here. It kind of follows the S line, and then it's going to come right here. That's going to be a very, very strong shadow. It's kind of bend, and then it's going to kind of go all the way to the top of the nasal cavity. So that's kind of the shadow of it. When you reassess to make sure I still make it, I think this stone can come out just a little bit, not much more out, but I think it comes out just a tad bit more. So we make it count just a tad bit more. But I still want to keep a little bit of that ridge right there. So I'm going to just readjust my line right here. And again, make sure I don't come out too much of a curve up here. And just readjust that line. That way I can redefine the orbital bone up here. That is where it is. Okay. Now to kind of get this little bit of a shape, it's kind of going a little bit to the corner of right here in B4. And again, I'm going to draw very lightly because again, it's not defined necessarily by a line, but it is defined by a shadow. So kind of lets me know where I need to lay down that shadow. And then that way, again, I could come up here because I'm not going too far up off of this line right here. Again, I'm going to turn my paper because my hand is not very comfortable drawing like that. And kind of makes it a little bit round right there. So we'll keep that a little bit round. And it kind of goes in. And then we're going to follow this along because knowing that we need to put a shadow in that area. So you see it is starting to slowly but surely look like the drawing. We're just got to be very, very patient with it. And now we're going to do the teeth that I know y'all are just so excited about. So we're going to now do the teeth even before I do the hole right here and before I do this little area right here. I mean, I guess if you wanted to, you could do this area right here. Just know that it's going to come into B2. the curvy part of it doesn't come that close to the flower, but though it does end in the flower at D2, so not quite at that edge, but it does need to come down here. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead, if I wanted to go ahead and bring this in just a little bit. Make that curvy part come down. It is going to curve out just a little bit right here by that flower. Then it's going to curve right back in, but let's bring out that curve just a little bit. It's actually going to curve in pretty good right here. And then it's going to curve right into that flower. So that is that line right there. Actually, I don't think that line's that wide. So we're going to come in here. Just a little bit. Oh, yeah, I think I like that. Make it more organic. Okay. So that's that line over there by the left right, right orbital bone. Oh, I think it's orbital. I don't know. I wasn't in nursing school long enough. All right, so we're going to put like a top line to where the teeth are going to go. We're going to put a bottom line to where the teeth are going to go, and right here in the middle. Now you're going to overlap that line with the teeth, and that is fine. But just to let you know, I'm going to give myself some guiding lines to do the teeth, and that's okay. I'm going to start the teeth over here, way down here in D4. We'll kind of start kind of high because that's where my teeth are going to go. They're going to go pretty high. But the center of the teeth, if I did this correctly, is actually going to come because it's one of the teeth coming out, like that's helping the skull come back on the grid. Is actually the top part of this teeth. So I want to make sure that I follow that light where that top of that teeth is going to be. It's going to come and it's going to ride right here, this line between E and D. DE3 and DE3 and D4 and E4. So when I come right here, kind of almost comes right to that center of where that is. So it's going to come right here. And it's going to go right through here before it takes that sharp curve. Start seeing that sharp curve up. Now it does need to be a little bit, just a tad bit more around it. So maybe I need to bring it up just a little bit. There we go. And that's going to be the middle of our teeth. And I'm going to see where I am right here. And I'm going to see where I am right here. And that is going to bring that teeth kind of up. And then it's going to roughly bring our teeth from the bottom. From that very, very bottom corner to a little bit of where this corner is and up. And sitting here looking at it, I'm thinking this top part is going to do this, come across, and it's going to go up to match that. Okay, so this is where you should be by the end of class. If you want to go ahead and add these little leaves right here to the side of the skull, you're more than welcome to. This part of this leaf comes way down here where it gets lost in shadow, so just let y'all know. And then the top part of this is going to come up and it's going to come right back down. Good. And then this part of this leaf is going to come up. Then it's going to come out. And then it's going to come back in. Yeah. And then it's going to come back in and it's going to come back down. All right. And then this part of this flower right here is only right here. So I'm going to come up. And then I'm going to stay, it's not too far from my skull, but so I'm gonna make sure I don't bring it too close to it. I think this needs to be shorter. All right, so this is where you should be stopping today. And then you can work on this Thursday. If you're working through this very fast, I have some noses and mouths and eyes you can start working on for grid drawings. Stay busy. So if I was you and you don't really want to work on a mouth or a nose, you better work very patiently with this. And that's gonna go like that. Okay, so from here, um, I'll do another video or we can work on it Thursday. We'll work on the teeth. Okay, guys, so this is where it should be ending. All right, y'all have a great day. Hopefully I am here to teach y'all some of that. All right, bye guys.